I gotta say, this is a bad hour for me.
5 p.m.?
You know as well as I do that I sundown. I think that starts happening now, right? What's the age that you become dumb at dusk? And is it your late 30s?
Okay, I think you're confused on several concepts.
You should see me in the morning, though. I'm really cracking in the morning at 6 a.m. Then I give all of my sparkling wit and competence to my employer, the state of Florida. All right, it's Sunday evening. We're recording. It is the Sunday immediately after Thanksgiving. We feasted. Did you feel as though you engaged in gluttony?
I don't know. I ate some food.
Did you overindulge? Did you pat your belly happily and settle down into a stupor afterwards?
No, who does that?
It happens in cartoons, I think.
I'm not Garfield.
The issue with overeating, patting your stomach happily, and dozing off with a glass of port next to a roaring fireplace is that now that Black Friday starts on Thanksgiving, you have to immediately go to Best Buy after your meal, I think.
Well, that's what I did.
Oh, yeah. Is that where you went?
Yeah.
I wondered where you went.
Yeah, I was elbowing people out of my way, getting their spittle flying into my face.
Really collecting as much as you can.
It's seedy business. It's seedy business.
We did make... Wow, I can't believe I was about to take any even partial credit for that. You did make a delicious sweet potato dish. Last episode, we mentioned you were going to make something with sweet potatoes. Can you describe the wondrous thing you made?
I mandolined them.
Yeah, you didn't even bleed.
I really erred on the side of wasting sweet potato rather than playing a dangerous game with the mandolin.
The most dangerous game.
And then stood them on end and then covered them in olive oil and harissa, and that's it. And then you just bake them.
Yeah.
It was very simple.
Yeah, it really worked.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much 100% dependent on the harissa you buy.
Standing them on end is a real cocky move, I think, but it creates quite a dramatic presentation.
When it lets the tops of them get crispy.
Yeah.
Though I will say the day after Thanksgiving, I found myself wishing I had scalloped potatoes.
Oh, we can have Thanksgiving too. We often had Thanksgiving too in previous years.
Well, in previous years, we've always made way too much food and invited many people and then had a few people actually come. But this year we resolved to not make a bunch of food because what are you going to do?
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. So we made just a very reasonable amount of food.
Well, we could make some scalloped potatoes. We also have to make our pumpkin fondue still. Okay, so like we said, though, those were not our garden sweet potatoes. Those were the store sweet potatoes. Can you tell me what is, in fact, in the garden?
Then let us cultivate our garden. It's the only way to make life endurable.
Yeah, I will. Though one point of fact is that in a very real sense, our sweet potatoes are also the grocery store's sweet potatoes because I did not buy sweet potato slips this year. I had some sweet potatoes that started going bad and growing slips in the cupboard and I planted them.
Really?
Yeah, that's where our sweet potatoes came from.
Do you think that Trader Joe's has intellectual property rights over our sweet potatoes?
Well, don't tell them.
That's how capitalism works, I think, is that if you ever benefit in any way from anything that a corporation has offered you, they own it in perpetuity.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in terms of what's in the garden, the garden news of the day is that we're now the owners of 2 aloe plants.
Yes, in fact, a lovely woman from my church gave me 2 aloe plants, which she referred to as aloe pups, which I'd not been familiar with this turn of phrase, but I guess it is common.
It is. These are on the big side for pups. I mean, they were
they're-
once pups.
They're dirty dogs at this point.
Yeah. She grew them to a pretty remarkable size, I think.
Do we know what the etymology of pups in this context is?
I mean, I think it's just what it looks like because, a big plant will have these little plants around it coming off of it.
Sure. What can we do with these? Can we anoint our bodies with them?
Well, I mean,
Can't you just squeeze it onto yourself? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can, sort of. It has like there's a firmer gel in there and then a more liquidy gel in there.
There are 2 gels?
So when you buy the stuff in the bottle, I guess it's sort of averaged out to be the
medium gel.
Yeah.
But that's the average of the 2 gels?
I guess, sort of.
Wow, I never knew that. How viscous is the thick gel?
You can eat the thick gel. Like, you can eat it kind of like a weird vegetable.
But it's a gel. Is it like the texture of a very mushy cooked root vegetable or something like that?
I'm trying to think of something that its texture resembles. I've never had steamed celery, but maybe like a lightly steamed celery.
Like not in taste, but in texture?
In texture.
Huh.
It's not a crunch by any means, but it's got a resistance that is of a type that I think is pretty unique. But maybe there's something obvious that I'm forgetting about.
What kind of cuisine would it be involved with?
Well, I don't know. When I was in Japan, it was very trendy to include chunks of aloe in yogurt, for example, the way yogurt
like
would have fruit in it.
tapioca? Is it comparable to tapioca?
But it doesn't have that texture. It doesn't have the same chewiness.
I see. So it has resistance to the teeth, but not chewiness. And
it's a very slight resistance. It's
Okay.
not a goo.
And the liquidy aloe is like water?
Yeah, it's like
jizz?
watery.
What is the...
It's it's watery, but
Watery.
but stringy.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's mucusy.
Okay, yeah. Sounds nasty. Let's eat some of it and smear the rest on our bodies.
Well, I mean, we could keep these as houseplants.
Yeah, that's an option too.
We don't have any houseplants because Lucy the cat would
Lucy
eat
the
them.
cat. Yeah, it's notable that when we brought these in the house, she did not go crazy in desire for them.
So maybe she would leave them alone.
Yeah, it's possible. Like if we walk in the house with, I mean, obviously arugula, which she loves, but with any sort of leafy green thing, she begins crying desperately for it. Even a thing, if you brought like a flower that had leaves on it, she would begin crying for that. But I guess maybe these are obelisk-like, or how would you describe tentacle-like is what a aloe plant looks like. Maybe it doesn't look like a leaf to her.
Yeah, they seem not to have caught her attention yet anyway. Oh, you know what we forgot to do is introduce ourselves.
Here's the issue. Our name sounds like a famous person's name. Our collective name sounds like a famous person's name.
That's true.
That being Allison Roman. But I'll say I'm Roman, and then you say I'm Allison. I'm Roman.
Wait. You say, welcome to Seedy Business. I'm Roman.
Welcome to CD Business. I'm Roman.
I'm Allison.
And we're a New York Times best-selling chef. All right, now that we've got that out of the way. So we're not going to plant these aloe plants in the ground. That's not sensible. They exist as house plants.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, in Florida, maybe we could put them outside and they would be okay.
Well, it's worth noting that although it has continued to be 80 degrees every day, tomorrow night it is supposed to be 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Can you imagine that?
No.
Yeah,
I can't imagine it anymore.
It seems impossible. I don't feel as though I've ever experienced that temperature.
I mean, what temperature is that Celsius? Like 5 degrees or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's calling for overnight lows on Monday and Tuesday of 3 and 4 degrees
Yeah. Celsius.
Celsius.
Friends.
Yep.
Allison's a scientist, so she refuses to entertain Fahrenheit as a unit, which I think is pretentious.
The whole entire world. It's the whole world.
Yeah. No, aren't there like 3 countries and we're one of them?
Yeah.
And they're completely random seeming?
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, let's see. All right. Here are the countries that use Fahrenheit: the Bahamas, Belize, the Cayman Islands, the Federated States of Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, and the United States of America, and its territories like Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and Guam. That's it, baby.
Okay. Interesting.
Freedom units, as they say. So it's an exciting day for us. We just got in the mail the Fedco Seeds and Supplies 2021 catalog. This is episode 25. The last time we encountered Fedco was in episode 11, which we recorded in May, where we looked at their 2020 catalog. Their 2021 catalog just came in the mail. I feel incredibly guilty about the fact that we were somehow sent 2 physical catalogs, which seems like waste. Although it does make the recording the podcast easier. But you may remember from the episode 11 that I declared this the best catalog I'd ever seen.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a bold claim, but I believe it is held up over time, even in the face of a number of other excellent catalogs. I just think this is the proverbial bee's knees.
Yeah, it's a really pleasing, beautiful catalog.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's substantial. I think the descriptions are incredibly well written, often funny, often charming, very thorough. You know, if this the genesis of our podcast is to read good seed descriptions, I'm just not sure that this catalog has been topped in my eyes.
Which is why I advocated we do multiple episodes on it.
It's possible we might do multiple episodes on this catalog. This is Fedco's 43rd year. I don't know if you've been listening to my brother and me lately, but whenever Justin does Munch Squad over the last, 6 months, every single one of the press releases he reads starts with something like, "Oh, it's been a weird year for us all." And the joke is that has become like they never want to see that again.
Yeah, all press releases.
All press releases have to
for anything, no matter how trivial, have to acknowledge.
Tangentially reference COVID.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to.
Yep.
And in fact, the first line of the editor's statement in this is, "May you live in interesting times." Redux. How eerily prescient it was to invoke that adage a year ago. That was how their 2020 catalog began too. And then to experience it play out as both a curse and a blessing. On their table of contents page, they have a section titled Antidotes to Despair, which I think,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's well received. And they have a bunch of little articles in the catalog about a cooperative gardening commission, a Good Shepherd food bank, Bliss Meadow Farm, Land in Common, a bunch of sort of good seed works that are happening in various places by various people, like recognizing the contributions of indigenous communities and building seed banks and doing cooperative gardening. And Fedco has their statement of seed savers' rights that they print in all their catalogs. All right, so the catalog, is beautiful. I've compared it to Seed Savers, but Seed Savers is a glossy, high production value catalog. This is not. This is on sort of recycled newsprint. The cover is black and white, which it's a beautiful drawing of 2 hands holding a bunch of dirt with cool shit growing out of it, and a butterfly landing on a flower. I like how dirty the hands are. Not just because they're holding dirt, but just the way they're drawn, you can tell how absolutely buried in the ground they've been.
I mean, these drawings inside are really a delight.
Yeah, and they encompass a wide variety of styles too. I should really try to see if we can find who does these. It seems like it would have to be a team.
Some of them are signed, and they're signed by different names.
Okay.
So I wonder if they've accumulated them over the years.
Could be, yeah. Some are sort of not photorealistic, but, meant to give you a as detailed as possible vision of what the plant might look like. Some are more basic line drawings. Some are doing bits. On page 25, there is the Gaudi, I guess maybe pronounced gaudy in this context, eggplant. I'll read the description. Gaudy, an eggplant, sui generis. How do you pronounce that? Sui generis?
Yeah, sure.
Gaudy.
I mean, do you want to say it as a hard G?
Generis?
Well, you definitely shouldn't say it with a weird French accent.
Gaudy, an eggplant sui generis, as the architect.
What the hell was that? What are you doing?
I'm just trying to say those words in a non-offensive way. One more take.
It's Latin.
I'm saying it like it's French.
That's why I keep saying stop doing a French accent.
That's right. As the architectural work of its Catalan namesake, Antoni Gaudi.
So it is Gaudi.
I don't know how it is. But dark purple, 7 to 8 inch tapered, half-long, bell-shaped fruit with a thornless, light green calyx. Early and productive in 2 very different main trial seasons. The first, a cool meh of a year. A cool meh of a year. Then 2020 with its heat and drought. Lovely harvests both years with fruits holding deep full color into advanced maturity. Adorable and delish at 4 to 5 inch baby size. The breeder notes that under stress, thorns may form, but in 2 years with suboptimal conditions, we've waded through the eggplant patch without a single babagan. Ouch!
Yikes.
Our trials were in the field, but it's also recommended for high tunnels. Let us know your returns if you give it a try. I love it. I love a seed description that can say, it was a meh year. It's delish. It's delish. But anyway, the cartoon, I'm going to call it a cartoon even and not a drawing, that goes with this is a eggplant wearing excessive pearls and jewels. It's a gaudy eggplant.
But in any case, the pictures are meant to inspire and delight more than inform in most cases.
Sure. There's one that I found to be so evocative that I want to look at with you, which is on page 21. It's the latte bicolor sweet corn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So the drawing is, okay, it's a seated creature. It's wearing a tunic of sorts with its abdomen exposed. Its abdomen, you can see, is just that of a skeleton. You can see its rib cage. Its head is that of a goat, would you say?
I guess that's more of a donkey.
Could be, yeah. It has sort of the ears of a donkey. It's a little, I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, look at it has a hoofed foot.
That's
One
true.
foot is visible and it's a hoof.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be a donkey. Let's say
goats have hooves too, but it's not cloven. Like this is a cow or a...
All right, let's go with donkey. I think that's fair. Head of a donkey. It's not a skull, the head. It's a enfleshed head. In one of its hands, or is it protruding from its abdomen, is a large ear of corn. It's being held by one of its hands.
Yeah, in one hand, it's holding a very large, compared to itself, a very large ear of corn.
And in the other hand, it is holding a cup of what I presume to be coffee, in fact, a latte, because that is the name of the plant, with something sprouting out of it.
Well, it's a corn plant.
Right, of course.
the other corns on this page include espresso and cappuccino, as
Yeah.
well as latte. It's also seated on top of a pillar. We see the
Yeah,
top of a
that's right.
pillar.
Yep,
And it's wearing a circlet around its head.
it is.
And it has no hair on top of its head, but then below the circlet, it has flowing, curly locks.
Yeah, beautiful locks.
I mean, I don't know what's happening in this
Yeah.
picture. It's pretty
I'll put a
intense.
picture of this in the episode notes. Do you want to read the description of the latte?
Latte. We know what you're thinking. Why would I grow a corn named after diluted coffee? But after our taste test, even staff skeptics were won over. Wow, corn plus sugar? Beautiful bicolor, best flavor. And full ears, full kernels. Every tip was filled out on these super early, extra fancy 8-inch ears with 14 rows. Such high quality and great taste is normally reserved for a later maturity slot. But why not start the first corn picking with the good stuff? While it often bears only a single ear per stalk, latte is easy to grow and excels at cold soil emergence. So have a latte and breathe a sigh of sweet corn relief. We suggest staggered plantings for successive harvests.
Cool. So, this catalog, like I have some apprehension and anxiety in approaching it because I know that it's filled with descriptions that would be straight up delightful to read, and I'm afraid of missing them, ones that really should be read on the podcast, which is why we might do a second episode. But we thought that the way we would choose our descriptions to read in this episode would be under the framework of a what the fuck is that?
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
And we're going to go back to the well for another plant or Marvel superhero character. Is that what we're doing?
Marvel character or plant.
Okay. And in this case, the plant will be a plant out of this catalog. And when I guess correctly or incorrectly which one of these is the plant, we'll then read that description out of this 2021 Fedco catalog.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, my chiggers are itchy.
Yeah, we've got a lot of chigger bites.
That's what you people who don't live in the Southeast, and our backyard has a lot of hanging Spanish moss, which is beautiful, picturesque, and full of chiggers. Anyway, what the fuck is that? Let's go.
Okay. Cerise and cherry bomb.
I guess I'm going to go with Cherry Bomb being the Marvel character, again because of the implied violence of a bomb. And I guess Cerise would be the plant.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid you've gotten that incorrect.
All right, yeah, so the way I'm going to do this is since neither one of us are well-versed in superhero lore, I'm going to also look up the Marvel character. Cerise is a X-Man. She is a extraterrestrial from the planet. Oh man, what the fuck is this? Chassofrugan? I don't know why you would name something that in a comic book. But
Also, I'm sorry, aren't X-Men human beings? Isn't that an important, except for legal purposes in the form of toys, but
guess so.
But she's an alien.
She's an alien.
An alien ally.
She was accidentally transported to Earth after deserting her empire's brutal army, refusing to fire upon innocents, and as a result, causing the death of her own crew. Wow, terrible. She has the ability to generate energy fields of red spectrum light force, and I guess murder people with it.
Okay.
What's the red bomb? Let me guess. Is it a
cherry bomb? Cherry bomb.
Cherry bomb. So definitely not a cherry. This falls into the category of fruit or vegetable called by the name of another fruit or vegetable. Is it a cherry tomato?
It is a cherry tomato.
Mm.
Spray-wary gardeners everywhere can celebrate. Johnny's Selected Seeds breeder, Emily Haga, developed this vigorous hybrid cherry tomato, not only with explosive flavor, but also added bomb-proof resistance against late blight lineage US 23. The glossy, bright, crimson cherry grape cross bursts with full tomato zing balanced against a meaty, firm texture. Fedco staffers Roberta Bailey and Heron Breen swear by Cherry Bomb for superb eating and reliable nonstop production, making sure we gave it a well-deserved place in our catalog. Growers take note, the oval, slightly heart-shaped, and distinct long sepals will give unique visual appeal at the farmer's market to make your sales explode. Between the flavor and the look, everyone will want more.
The phrase superb eating, which I feel like implies it's very good at being eaten, is a strange turn of phrase, but I like the description. Like, I tend to like all of these. Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Mom.
I'm your cherry bomb. That's right. Hello, world. I'm your wild girl.
Which I think is another Marvel superhero.
Wild girl? Yeah, I mean, probably.
Oh, sorry, it's Wild Child.
All right, what's the next pair?
Okay, the next pair is Fireball and Firebird.
I think if Marvel were going to have a character that was a firebird in some way, they would not resist the urge to call that person like Phoenix or something like that.
Well, they do have a Phoenix.
They have a...
I'm almost positive that there's an X-Man Phoenix. There's a whole Marvel comic series called the Phoenix Force.
All right, well, then there's not independently a Firebird, unless that was like the generic knockoff Phoenix. But I'm going to go with Firebird as the plant and Fireball as the superhero. And I'm going to say that the plant, the Firebird, is something that has like a spray of red leaves on it in some way. I'm going to say it's a kale with striking red streaks in its leaves.
That is a great guess. Unfortunately, you are wrong. Firebird is the Marvel character, and Fireball is the seed.
Wow. Whoa. There might be two Firebird superheroes. There are two Wikipedia entries. One of them is in both Marvel and No, okay. All right. Firebird, Bonita Juarez is I guess her alter ego is Firebird. She is a, quote, notable Latina superhero, says Wikipedia. She's a devout Roman Catholic. I don't need to read anymore, but I assume that like her mission is firebombing abortion clinics, maybe?
Well, I want to know what her power is.
Let's see. She came into contact with a radioactive meteorite fragment, and the radiation altered her DNA and gave her the power to generate flames and heat and also to fly. But she believes her gifts came from God and presumably his only begotten son, Jesus Christ.
Wait, so in universe, there is a physical scientific explanation, but she is incorrect about the source of her own power?
Yeah.
That is a weird... I mean, they could just make it that her powers are from God.
Why weren't her powers just from Jesus Christ? I mean, in the sense that Jesus Christ sent the radioactive meteorite as he controls with his gentle hand all things.
Wow. I have no words.
Let's see. Fireball. I mean, is it a pepper?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Fireball is a hot pepper. Like the candy of the same name, Fireball turns the inside of your mouth red. Its initial impression of sweetness is swiftly followed by an expression of searing heat. Small, strawberry-shaped fruits turn from shiny green to blazing red, mirroring the fire within. Donna's first ripened September 1st. Additional fruits matured slowly. In mid-October, her plants were still covered with peppers, 2,500 to 5,000 Scovilles.
I was going to ask if it gave a Scoville scale. I love that this catalog says how the crop did in, like, on individuals' farms or in their gardens. Like, maybe they're partners to the company, but I get the sense that if you write in and tell them that this did really good this year for you, then you might just end up in their catalog in one of those.
They actually have a little text box call out on page 51, which is in the peas section, that says, if you can grow good peas in lots around 50 to 200 pounds in areas without prevalent pea diseases or pea weevils, and you want to work with us, please let us know.
Oh.
So I guess they have partners for certain crops, and looks like they're seeking someone in their pea
Sure, that's
area.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, so this is a company out of Maine, by the way, we mentioned in the last episode, but yeah, I can totally see them saying, like, before we make any claims about how this grows in certain places or under certain conditions, we'd love to have one of our readers try growing them and let us know how it does. All right, give me another one.
Tiger's eye, silver fox.
Well, I know about the Silver Surfer. If you were to ask me to name like 5 superheroes, maybe I could. But I think maybe the Silver Surfer would be one of them. And I don't know, I just don't think there can be multiple silver superheroes. But I don't know. But Tiger's Eye doesn't seem... I don't know, both tigers and foxes, I could see superheroes wanting to emulate. Silver Fox?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, like a sexy older man?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, like Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say that Silver Fox is a superhero in that case, and that it is a guy who looks like Anderson Cooper, and that Tiger's Eye is the plant, and I'm going to guess it is a chickpea.
Oh, wow. Very good. Silver fox is a superhero.
Ah,
And Tiger's eye is a plant, and it is a bean.
okay.
So very
Wow,
close.
Right on. Let's see. Silver Fox superhero. Oh, wow. So it's not a man who's aging gracefully. It is, in fact, Kayla Silverfox. Kayla Silverfox, who is a lover of Wolverine. Unfortunately, she's killed by, spoiler alert, I'll give you a second to fast forward this if you don't want to know who she's killed by. I guess the real
By
spoiler is
Wolverine?
that she's killed. I've already spoiled that. But no, she's killed by Sabretooth. She's later revealed to be alive, which I think happens in comics constantly. No one's ever dead. And revealed to be a member of Team X, the CIA covert ops team. So I don't have any great love for her.
Was Wolverine at least investigated for the murder?
I don't know how to know that. It seems like she does a lot of killing. Let's see. Wolverine relives the induced memory of Sabretooth killing Silver Fox. So maybe he thinks that he did? I don't know.
I've lost interest. It's fine.
So she has one of her superpowers is that she has like an age suppressant. So maybe at some point she gets really elderly if that ceases to be.
So wait, she's called Silver Fox, and her superpower is that she's eternally young?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right.
Bad branding.
Well, they can't have a female superhero who is in any way not in her 20s. That would be impossible. Okay, so what kind of bean is the tiger eye?
Tiger's eye, shell, and dry bean. Also called pepa de zapallo, originally from Argentina and Chile. Among the most beautiful of all beans. bright golden ochre with maroon swirls and a smattering that are maroon with golden speckles. That would be reason enough to grow them. But they also make superb fresh shell and delicious baked beans with rich, full-bodied flavor, a good pinto substitute. The tender skins pretty much disappear upon cooking. Wide, 4-inch pods fill with large, flattened, kidney-shaped seeds, mostly white at the shell stage, but taking on more yellow as they dry. Bush plants grow 2 feet with a slight tendency to vine.
Well, great news. And I know you were all wondering it. Rancho Gordo does sell this bean, the Ojo de Tigre. So maybe we should get them and eat them into our bodies.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably have eaten them before. And we also have lots of beans, so don't buy
There's
any.
a risk. Apparently, they have a thin skin, so they cook really fast, which actually seems like it would be an advantage. Rancho Gordo, friends of the pod.
In the sense that
In the sense that we make purchases from them, yes. All right, give me another one.
how about Gold Rush and Starbolt?
Gold Rush is a corn, and Starbolt is a superhero that was shamelessly designed after David Bowie.
Well, you're right that Gold Rush is a plant, but it is another bean.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like if you're panning for gold, like you're a prospector, you might sift out a bunch of gold nuggets, which are bean-sized.
Well, so interestingly, it's a bush, like it's a wax bean that you eat fresh.
Oh,
So, yeah, it would make more sense if they were shelling beans that happen to be a golden color, because then panning for gold would sort of make sense there. But they're just yellow colored wax beans.
all right. Let's see what the deal is with Starbolt. Starbolt is an alien whose entire body is composed of an unknown form of, quote, ultra energy.
Cool.
Yeah, so not just the regular type of energy, but ultra energy that resembles fire. And as a result, Starbolt is able to channel his ultra energy into powerful flame-like bolts of concussive force. I feel like there's a disproportionate number of fire superheroes. I'm looking at a picture. He doesn't look like David Bowie. He's wearing a red unitard. Here's what I don't get. The picture of this superhero, he has like a fucking flame head. He looks like a...
He's got fire coming out everywhere.
Yeah, it's just everywhere. Fire coming out everywhere. And then it has his stats on the side, and it says height 5'11", which is just one of the funniest heights for like a supernatural fire monster to be. His strength level in this stats, by the way, so he's 5'11", this flame monster. His strength level is unrevealed, but probably the same as that of Earthmen of the same physical age, height, and build who engages in moderate regular exercise. So us.
Just because his body is made of ultra energy, it doesn't mean that he's has
basically like
additional strength.
He's basically like a guy in his late 30s who does yoga a few times a week.
Yeah. But he's made of ultra energy.
That's right. Yeah.
There's nothing that says ultra energy makes you stronger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Can't dispute
It
that.
all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Gold Rush Bush Wax Bean. Open pollinated, much better than indie gold. Tender 5 to 6 inch straight round stringless beans have excellent flavor and high yields. Yellow pods with green tips hold well on the vigorous plants. Your market customers won't pan this gold.
I mean, that's very nice.
Yeah, I mean, they don't shy away from a pun.
Yeah, and that's like a legitimately that's a good one. All right, I'm ready for another one.
Chameleon and champion.
Well, I mean, chameleon is too good a superpower for that not to be the superhero, I've got to say. So I assume chameleon is a superhero who can like change the way they look or whatever based on where they are. But champion, boy, it's hard to say what plant I think that would be. It could be basically anything, just the best version of it. What's the cockiest plant?
That's a question only you can answer.
I mean, there are certainly more humble plants than others. Like a cabbage, you would not say is a plant that puts on airs. The question is, what plant puts on airs? I think it's a melon because of its like the heft of it.
Okay, well, you were right that it's a plant, but you're wrong that it's a melon. Though there could be a melon called champion. I mean, a lot of these things are reused.
Sure. What is it, in fact?
Champion is a radish.
Really? Wow, I would put radish in the category of humble plant in the way that I would cabbage.
Yeah, I think most people would.
The champion radish. Tell me about that.
Open pollinated. Smooth scarlet roots with firm, mild flesh grow quickly to snackable size. Crunchy and juicy. 1957 AAS. Some variation in our observation plots, but one customer said, best radish I've grown in 40 years.
Well,
Do not crowd. Thin, thin.
well, best radish that some guy has grown in 40 years is huge. All right, chameleon, let's see. The chameleon, Dmitry Smerdyakov. I don't know why they give these people actual names, but it's funny to me. He's a super villain, and he was the first adversary ever of Spider-Man. He debuted in the initial 1963 issue of Spider-Man. He, as you might guess, is a master of disguises who can impersonate anyone, basically. I guess originally he had no superhuman powers and just was a really good makeup artist, which is great. I love the idea that a supervillain who was a legitimate threat and rival to Spider-Man was just a very good makeup artist.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, unfortunately, later on it was retconned so that his skin pigmentation had been surgically and mutagenically altered by a serum so that he can take on the appearance of any person at will.
That's way worse.
It's so much worse, yeah. He's also a method actor, which is an annoying trait that any supervillain would go well with, I think.
Yeah, original flavor sounds really good to me. Villainous makeup artist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great, like, drag king persona.
For sure. All right, we're going to get out of here. We did get an additional iTunes review.
Nice.
Yeah, so I thought I'd read it. It's very sweet. It's by gentle listener Hugh Mysex. Writes, great low-stakes listening. These two provide a great break from heavy conversation. Little do they know what we cut out of this. It's the most dire possible conversation, generally. These two provide a great break from heavy conversation. The show is quirky, the banter is personable and friendly, the seed descriptions are just what a person might want for background noise while doing something that requires slight thought, but when you also might want a little human interaction. Interaction is in quotes also.
Yeah, I love this because this is exactly what I need. I need many hours a week of that type of podcast so that I can focus on doing my work. And I need to be distracted the right amount in order to focus. Mm-hmm. But it needs to not be something that I care too much about.
Yeah, I'm glad we can sort of be in that niche somewhere. I like that human interaction is quoted. It calls into question as to whether what we are doing is in fact, quote, human interaction or not. Anyway, thank you for that lovely review. If anybody wants to write us a review, we'll certainly read it. Also, you can be much less nice than this if you would like, and we'll still be thrilled to read it.
No, if you don't like our podcast, you don't have to review it. You can just send us
Extremely
rude
angry
DMs and
or
emails.
threatening emails. That's fine. We'll read those too. And if you're so inclined, of course, you can elect to follow us on Twitter at @CDBusiness or on Instagram at CDBusinessPod. You can email us at cdbusinesspod@gmail.com. Of course, if you'd like us to talk about a particular catalog, let us know. We always like to get requests like that. And assuming it hasn't been mutagenically altered, you should eat your vegetables.
We're all just doing the best we can.
Speak for yourself.
It's CD business. It's CD business. Boring talk about seeds, CD talk between boys. Mind-numbing chatter about ovules and spores. We'll take a ditch and we'll moan and split the difference. It's CD business. It's CD